Are we okay? I think we're on, but Jennifer
Yep.
didn't tell me how to find
There we go.
the comments. Oh, wait, chat. Here we go. Is this it? It says group chat. I don't know if anybody's there. Heather and I are
Hi, if you're
here.
there.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Classic Chicks Vintage Flicks. This week we are doing Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Unfortunately, at the last minute, Jennifer was not able to make it in, so I am trying to figure this out. I don't know if I really have control room. I don't know if it says group chat, but I don't see anybody else. So I don't know if anybody's in there.
Jill, if you could go to the live stream, you might be able to see them as they come up.
Okay, let me click on.
Give us a minute. We'll figure it out.
I know. I'm sorry if anybody's there.
We
They
love you.
asked
Thank you for your
me to be
patience.
the one to head this crazy shin thing going on. And
It's not even a shindig at this
it's not
point.
even really a shindig at this point. So I'm at the live stream, but I don't see comments. Click the link for the video.
I wish I could help you.
Where? Maybe if I look it up under me on YouTube also. Oh, I don't want to log out. I'm on the live stream, but I don't see comments. Now I lost. Okay, here's Google Hangouts again. We may have to do this comment free. I don't even know what to do. I don't see comments.
Oh, cool. Wish I had my
I'm in
laptop.
YouTube.
You're on the live stream?
I'm on the live stream. I can see myself. Oh, wait.
They
There
should
it
be off to
is.
the
I
side.
found them. I found them.
Okay. I was like, they should be right there on
I
the
found it,
side.
everybody. I did it. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yay. Okay. Wow, this is going by really fast, you guys.
Oh my
I should
gosh.
not be allowed to do this. Okay, let me catch up. So we've got Vintage Camper Gal, Wisconsin, Mary Heron, Friday Catch Up, Samantha Workman. Mary says she likes your green hair.
Oh, thanks.
MR Mr. Cynthiac. I don't know if I said that right. Says, hey, my first live anything.
Sorry.
I know this was like not a good one to join in on.
But we love you. Don't leave.
Okay, Dark Rose is here. Miss Cherry Pip is here. Celiac Kitten is here. Okay,
Oh.
so we're gonna like get into things, and I will try to keep up with the comments the best that I can. But this is why Jennifer does it, because she's the professional, and I am technologically illiterate. I am learning. Um, so my name is JL. I am also known as Modern Retro Gal. This is Heather, also known as How to Be Fancy.
Hey guys, welcome.
And so we are going to get started. Heather did the research this week. Just as an FYI, research. It has been a really crazy ride for all three of us and a lot of other people. So we're all sort of just trying to like rally and put this thing together. So I'm going to throw it over to Heather. She's going to do some research. And then I'm going to try and remember how Jennifer does things, and we're just
We're
gonna wing it tonight.
literally just winging
So
it. Yeah. So before we get started, like JL kind of mentioned, I think a lot of people right now, we were just talking about this, are just kind of having a hard time. And we really wanted to do this tonight because of that. I think
yes.
a lot of times you need a little bit of a distraction when everything seems to be falling apart. And sometimes it's good just to get together and hang out. So everybody take a deep breath. We're all here. We can see your comments.
Yeah.
I've got like 3 notes.
And just really quickly, just to reiterate, if anybody just logged on, Jen is not here. She is having a difficult day, and she's got some deadlines that she needs to meet. But we didn't want to let everybody down because this was supposed to be September's movie, and it's October already. So okay,
and we can handle
that's
it.
one of
We
her
can
is,
do
if
it.
anybody's wondering.
Like,
So
she's good. Everybody needs a break every now and then, and that's
yes.
okay. Okay, so Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953. Jane Russell, Marilyn Monroe, in kind of one of their only film together, and it was kind of one of the films after Niagara that launched Marilyn Monroe's career. So I've got a few little tidbits from the film. Actually, I expected the two. I wasn't sure how the pair of them would get along together, but in everything that I read, they got along really great. Marilyn Monroe actually looked up to Jane Russell a little bit, which is kind of strange because this was the beginning of Jane Russell's career as well. She had done one other film, Outlaw, I think The Outlaw, and it had a really weird release date and time. It was released like a couple of different times, and then it would get pulled, and then it would get re-released because Howard Hughes was in charge of that film. And so kind of an interesting thing about Jane Russell is that she was contracted to Howard Hughes for all of his films. And that was through RCA. So this was an MGM film. And then it was directed by Howard Hawks, who did not get along with Howard Hughes all that well. And so it was really kind of an interesting thing that Howard Hughes allowed Jane Russell to go over to, or I don't think it was MGM, to go over to MGM and outside of her contract. So it was really a unique relationship that they had really throughout the course of his and her life. It was really, I actually just listened to a podcast about this the other day about Howard Hughes and Jane Russell. It's, you must remember this. I know a lot of you guys have recommended that podcast. So thank you for that. I just listened to it and it was all about Jane Russell, which was super interesting. So kind of like back to Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, there's a couple of really random things about it. Marilyn Monroe, since she was a contract player for RCA, then she only made like, I think it was like $1,000 a week, maybe $1,250 a week, whereas Jane Russell made $200,000 for this film, which was quite a lot. So although Marilyn Monroe was like Marilyn Monroe, this really Jane Russell fought kind of a lot for her rights in the industry, and so she typically got what she wanted from the very beginning, which I think is really unique of women during the time. And so it was really cool that she, went in and got like a considerable amount more. I think Marilyn Monroe ended up making like $15,000 from the film.
Wow.
I thought that was a bird. There's a couple of like funny things. So in Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, Marilyn was actually supposed to only be wearing strips of black velvet and jewels. But the League of Decency, I don't know if it was really them, but they decided it was too risque. And a lot of times in the direction, they would direct Marilyn to play more innocent, and they would direct Jane Russell to play more like sex kitten to kind of balance out their personas to get them a little bit more on like the same playing field, which I think is weird because I always think of Jane Russell as like super bombshell. But I guess they had to like balance it out a little bit. The iconic Olympic like Olympic team who does like the big dance routine kind of in the beginning of the film. When the divers were diving into the pool and Jane is sitting there on the edge, she falls in, and that was an accident, but they ended up using that take, and I think it's brilliant because she just like carries on singing like it was no big deal, and that was a complete accident, and that was the take they ended up using. So that was pretty cool. I think that's about all the notes I have. Oh, the director, in iconic Marilyn Monroe style, she was very difficult, and she had her acting coach on set with her every day. And of course, just like what was the other movie? Was it Some Like It Hot that we watched maybe last year? She
Yeah.
wanted to do take after take after take just to get things right. And so the director was like, got to cut it out. And so he kicked her acting coach off set, made Marilyn Monroe mad. She locked herself in her dressing room, and Jane Russell was the only person who was able to get her out and back on set every morning after that. So there was a little drama, but it was not between the two actresses. Um, Also, Marilyn Monroe did most of her own singing in all of this. The casting director thought it would be weird to dub. He thought her voice actually matched her body, which it did. So the only thing that they would dub would be like the really high parts in some of the songs. So it was mostly her voice, which I thought was really interesting. So that's it. That's all I got, guys.
Well, that's good. We've got a few comments that came in. So Mary said, Heron said, yes, Outlaw was Jane Russell's first movie. Jin Young Yang says, Heather, love your hair. It looks like Jane Russell's hair from the movie.
She was my total style inspiration when I got I was like, showed a picture of her and said,
yeah. Friday Ketchup said it was shocking, the most iconic music number of Marilyn's, and that's all they paid her. Malin, I can't pronounce the rest of it, says hi everyone. So hi Malin, or Malin, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Probably butchering it. And Friday Ketchup said, I thought that was an accident. Probably what you're referring to, Jane Russell falling into the pool.
You're correct.
So we're all caught up. So I will pretend to be Jennifer just for a moment because she did relay her thoughts on the movie. She said she loved the costuming on it. She thought everyone looked amazing, but she wasn't a big fan of the movie. She felt like it was more of a Marilyn Monroe movie and not really a Jane Russell movie. So she wasn't in love with it, but yeah. And Dark Rose said, I love your glasses, Heather. So this was one of those movies where I guess because I've seen it a lot and I feel like this is one of those movies that they put on TV a lot. So even like TCM, like this is one of those movies it's kind of in like their regular rotation, and I've just seen it a lot. I think we own it, which I think I rented it to watch it, and then I realized that we have it.
I did the same thing.
I was like,
oh wait, I own this.
It's $2.99. I do like this movie. I think the music numbers are great. I really like all of them. I think they fit really well into the movie. And as far as like what's going on during the movie, I love that the opening scene is, a big number from them. So I do like the musical numbers. I think they're really fun throughout the movie. I think the costuming is great. All of those like big roll collar dresses that both Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell, they have these like amazing like collared dresses and coats and things. And I just think it's fantastic. But I don't feel like it's the most memorable storyline in movie. I think the one thing that everybody knows this movie for is Diamond Zirkle's best friend, that Marilyn does, and you could sort of like rename this movie that. At this point, I really feel like the star of this movie is the little boy that's in it. I just feel like he steals every scene in the movie, and he's really my favorite character of everything, and he probably has like the least amount of screen time as all of the characters, but he's just so funny. Like my favorite part of the entire movie is when Marilyn gets stuck in the window
porthole,
hole
yeah.
porthole, and he's under the blanket, and the old man comes and is like kissing his hand, and he keeps like talking. He's
Hurry it
like,
up.
get away, hurry up and stuff. I just think he's so hilarious. Um, so really, that's kind of like the highlight of this movie. But I don't think it's my favorite Marilyn Monroe movie. It's don't think it's my favorite Jane Russell movie. I think they worked really well off of each other, but I think that it there's a lot of parts of it that are has a lot of forgettable story moments in it, and then I kind of start watching it. I'm like, oh, was that this movie? And that part was this movie too. And it was so. I think because of that, it's like you remember all the musical numbers and the fashion, but as far as the storyline, it's just kind of ho hum, and I feel like it's so similar to other movies that I think they both did that it was. I think we had this issue with another movie we saw before where we just kind of felt like it was like more of the same movie because it worked one time. They like keep doing it. Um, so that was kind of my thoughts and Jennifer's thoughts on the movie. So Heather, you can give your thoughts now.
Yeah. I have to be honest. I like Marilyn Monroe as a human being, but I am not the biggest fan of Marilyn Monroe films. And so I don't mind watching them. I think they're fun generally. Like, they're usually going to be absolutely beautiful. Um, they're not my favorite. So I like this one because it's got Jane Russell in it, who is one of my favorite people. And in my mind, this is a Marilyn Monroe movie, but in reality, it's supposed to be a Jane Russell movie. So if I, this is going to be really weird, but if I look at it as it's a Marilyn Monroe movie and then Jane Russell steals the show, then I like it better. But in reality, Jane Russell is supposed to be the star, and it didn't feel like that, I guess. But I do enjoy this film, not necessarily because of the story. I think the story is kind of forgettable, but it has these, well, let's be honest, I've watched it a million times simply because of the fashion. There's not a thing that is worn in this movie by any woman on screen at any time, except for Miss Pig, what's her name? Miss Piggy. I don't know what her name. The wife
Mrs.
the,
Piggy.
what is
It wasn't even his name, it's just what she called him.
Anyway, by his wife, I wouldn't wear what she wore, but everyone else, I would wear anything that was on screen. And I wrote down the name of like who did costuming just because I simply want to look up like other films that he did wardrobe for, because I think everything is perfection. I think even like they put Marilyn in a lot of like warmer colors and they put Jane in a lot of cooler colors. I just think like that is the most well thought out part of the whole film is the fashion. And then I love any sort of film that has great one-liners. And if you like really sarcastic one-liners, Jane Russell has like a million of them. There's one part when we'll call her Miss Piggy because I can't think of her name, but when she she walks up to the table and she's covered in like all of the jewelry and diamonds, and Mr. Piggy introduces her as his wife, and she goes, "What? I thought it was his diamond mine." Like, I love all of her like cutting little one-liners, but then I also love how protective she is of Lorelai, Marilyn's character. You can definitely see that she is looking out for her, and vice versa. Like, Marilyn's character they're legitimate friends. That's what I like
Yeah.
about this story, is that they are legitimate, equal friends. They're both gorgeous. They both could do whatever they wanted, and yet they still are there for each other. And so even though it's not my favorite film, I like it as a musical. I'm actually interested in knowing what the original musical was like, with Carol Channing, I think, played the lead in the Broadway musical. So I'm wondering like what that was actually like. um, I don't know if I would have enjoyed the story better. But yeah, like you said, JL, I love the little boy. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
I feel like he's the star of the
his
movie.
his
Like,
voice was so cute. Like when he walks up to the table,
yeah.
he's like, I know, what does he say? I know how to appreciate, I don't even know. Like his little like pickup lines,
Yeah.
and I loved him.
um, just to get caught up on the comments, let's see, where did we leave off? Starling Darling said, speaking of fashion, Marilyn Monroe's orange dress in that movie is fabulous. One of my favorite dresses of all time. I do love that they chose orange. I thought that was such an interesting color to put not only on her, but just in a color movie in general. You just don't really see that color very often. So I thought that was really cool. Denise Marie said it's kind of a shame that women in the movies aren't built like Jane and Marilyn anymore. Maybe it was those pointy brassieres from back in the day. I think I need one. It is, when you see them walking from behind, it is just like, it's almost like a dance. So
They actually had a trainer that taught them how to wiggle. They
that's
had
awesome.
someone come to set, and she eventually became a Broadway star, but she taught them how to have that little swagger in their step when they walked away.
Yeah. Miss Cherry Pip said, I love this movie, but I definitely think of it as a Marilyn movie too. Jin says, I love all of Jane's outfits. Freddie Ketchup, I love the lines and silhouettes of Russell's dress outfit in the Olympic team scene. I agree. Like, that is one of my favorites. Let's see. Stop, darling. Henry Spotford the Third. That kid was pretty funny. Yes. That
For
was
sure.
hilarious. He was hilarious. He was, to me, he was really like, his face should have been on the poster because every time he popped up in that movie, it was just perfection. Miss Cherry Pip said the scene was copied in a later I Love Lucy episode. I'm not sure what scene, what, we're just catching up with that. And Denise Marie said, wait, how did you guys pick this movie? Anyway, we have a group on Facebook, Classy Chicks and Vintage Flicks. That's where we post for your movie suggestions, and then we do a poll. So that's what was picked. Let's see. Stop, darling. Yes, you guys picked it. We do a poll, and whichever one gets the most votes, that's what we go with. Stop, darling, or Starling, darling. I don't know why I keep saying that. Said also liked that Marilyn's character thought it was going to be a grown-up man. Nope, just a child. Yeah, that was one of the best surprises.
How am I
Friday
doing?
Ketchup. Maybe it's also the morals that make it a little ho-hum too. It could be. It could be. I think she means the movie kind of feeling like a dud. Vintage Camper Gal says A for effort. Nemesis. Dark Rose says, I don't like that in a lot of Marilyn's movies they write her dumb. I think that's true.
Yeah, agreed.
I think if you watch Niagara, that's one of the few movies where she really wasn't written as dumb, and I think that's my favorite movie that she's done. And it's such a like huge departure from everything else that she did. I wish that she had done more.
She did in this movie, and this was an improv by Marilyn, which may tell you a little bit about that. There's a line where she says, I could be intelligent if I wanted to, but no one appreciates that," or something along those lines. She like kind of added that line into the script, And so I think that kind of speaks to exactly what she had to portray in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Miss Cherry Pip said she read the book when she was in high school. I did not know it was a book, so that's interesting. I'll have to find it. Mary Heron said the outlaw was pulled so many times due to Jane Russell's outfit.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
No, well, yeah. It sure was. They actually had to sit down, Howard Hughes and it wasn't the League of Decency, but basically we'll call them that. Sat down with 180 instances where her breasts showed too much, and so he brought in a mathematician to measure her breasts against any other actress's breasts, and it turns out they only needed to delete like 3 like takes essentially once he was like, no, let me show you that you're just like judging her based on her overall appearance, and that's not really true. So yeah, it took them I think 3 years to even release that film. This is a crazy story.
Great. The Nemesis I think that was what a previous comment is. There's the Nemesis is here, so hello. Oh. Has been in and out, may be here, may not be here, has to work tomorrow. But did say I wanted to find a pattern to make Marilyn's gray dress and jacket in this. Love it so much. Oh, Miss Cherry Pip said the porthole scene that was done in I Love Lucy. So I do feel like that's vaguely familiar. She gets stuck in the porthole. Let's see. Jen says, I also loved Marilyn's outfit when she got off the cruise boat in the Nemesis. Okay. All right. So we're caught up in the comments. Y'all, if this is not as smooth as normal, I apologize.
You're doing good.
We're doing the best we can. So Denise Marie said during the 1950s, there were many movies that had dark theme versus the happy-go-lucky family scenarios. And I think Marilyn was fortunate enough to get to play in those. Bus Stop, for instance. That was another really good one that she did that was kind of a departure from the kind of dumb blonde movies that she sort of wound up playing as we went along. So okay, so where do we go from here?
I kind of want to know, I don't know if you have a favorite, but since for me the fashion is everything in this, what is everyone's favorite like outfit moment? Because in my brain when I think about this movie, there are a couple. And the first one would be the buffalo plaid like swing coat that she wears over the top of that black pantsuit or black jumper thing. It's not really a jumper. I think it's 2 pieces, but it looks like a jumper. It's like the black buffalo check with the yellow. Anytime I think about this movie, that's like the one thing I remember. And then I recently bought a red sequin soutache dress from like the 40s simply because of the opening number, like the Little Rock song, and they're wearing those like red glittery dresses, and I have big plans to wear that. I don't know, to the living room at some point.
That's awesome. I think my favorite costume was actually it was the Jane Russell costume, and it's when she and the private detective were kind of going out onto one of the decks, and it was that black lace dress with the lace shawl that she had. She walked out in that, and I was like, oh, I mean that so bad.
That's real good. I also really liked her hair there because it's kind of like pulled back a little. That was good.
Yeah. So that was my favorite. So you, everyone who's in the comments, type in what was your favorite outfit moment from the movie. And I don't know. I feel like we're cheating if we don't do the. Who would you keep or who would you replace? Um, but I don't know. Maybe we will play while those comments come in because this one could be interesting and it could have sort of changed the whole dynamic. So I'll go first because I'm bringing it up. And and well, oh, I think I'm shooting myself in the foot because I didn't really think about it
I
very
kind
much.
of have a thought. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Because I feel like I will never lose Jane Russell in any movie ever. So, so we're sorry, Marilyn, we're not launching your career right now. But I think someone like Betty Grable, who still has that like sweetness and fun, like I think they could have been another equally matched bombshell duo, and she's clearly blonde. So I would probably put Betty Grable in place of Marilyn. And I wonder if they would have dumbed down the character as much as they did had it not been Betty Grable instead of Marilyn. I don't know.
Very true. I was kind of thinking, I don't know if time wise it really works with her age, but I was almost thinking maybe because I feel like Lorelai's character is kind of naive and sweet. And with Marilyn, they just kind of made her like extra sex pot and dumbed down. But I thought like even Doris Day
Mm-hmm.
would be interesting because I don't know, she's got like that kind of like naive, sweet girl next door. And I almost wonder like how that would have sort of like changed the movie dynamic because I think she
Mm-hmm.
still would have looked fabulous in the costumes and all of the dresses, and it would have been an interesting movie to see her in. Uh,
I
but
can see
yeah,
that.
I wouldn't get rid of Jane Russell
I
either.
can
I
see
feel
that.
like this is her. I don't know if it like has to be like a blonde, you know,
I mean, you have to
person.
change the name of the movie.
Yeah. I guess if you had like a non-blonde in
It'd
that,
be Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend.
there you go. Um, Jin says, I loved Lorelai's dress in the end when she met her father-in-law. I agree. Dark Rose. I like the wedding dresses. I do love like the matching like double wedding. That was really cute. Miss Cherry Pip, one of my favorite outfits is the blue pants Marilyn wears with the emerald green top and the purple cummerbund. It's not fancy, but the color combination is stunning. I
That's my favorite
agree.
Marilyn outfit. That's my
Yes.
favorite. Yeah.
And I like because for her and for her character, it was like a more conservative outfit,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it was interesting. Friday Ketchup said maybe Kate Hudson or Reese Witherspoon for Marilyn, which I could see that. I think I could see like one of those being thrown in there.
Maybe.
Um,
Interesting, like to figure out like would it be like an Angelina with like a Kate Hudson or someone like that. That could be interesting. I like the modern pairings.
yeah. So, um, Denise Marie said Mae West.
I like New West.
Yeah. um,
She was a mess, and I love her.
yeah. I'm trying to think of other characters. I'm not sure. So,
Placeable in this movie, just entirely.
yeah, I think you could have really swapped out any.
Just pick a face.
Yeah, you could have really kind of swapped out any, like, you know, dude going on during that time, except for the kid.
Yeah, except for the little boy.
The little boy. um, let's see, Dark Rose said that she can't scream. Friday Ketchup said, "Throw a cat among the pigeons, Rebel Wilson instead of Marilyn." Denise, yeah, Denise Marie said it's hard to put someone alongside Jane because of her shape. She devours smaller actresses. That's true. It is kind of hard. You kind of have to find somebody that's got that same really kind of extreme
Statuesque
shape,
kind of, yeah.
statuesque. I was trying to think of all the other movies that we've seen. Like, who else was kind of like another strong?
I mean, Betty
actress.
Davis, but
yeah,
but they're kind of a different, I don't know, genre of actress, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Johnny Carr set up Patricia Arquette in place of Marilyn. Yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking, I know it's a little early, but I feel like we've sort of gone through everything, and
we had 1/3 less talking.
Yeah. It went through faster with less talking. We actually are going, Jennifer sent me a message. We are going to actually be doing a second movie night. We are going to be doing an October movie because this was our September movie. That is going to be October 24th. So mark your calendars tonight after we're done. I will get a movie request up in the group where you can put all of your movie suggestions for October. I don't know if we're really going to do a theme. We were kind of throwing it out there. Maybe we would, maybe we wouldn't, but we have not had a chance to kind of regroup. So my suggestion is once you see the post up there, just throw out movie suggestions. If we have not done it yet or it is streamable, it will go up on a poll. Jennifer said scary-ish. Keep in mind, Heather does not handle
ultra scary.
Yeah. Mildly scary, campy scary. Suspense is good for Heather, but super scary or gore is a no-go. So be sure to put your suggestions up. We'll get a poll going. We will pick a movie. Hopefully we will be on track. So thank you all for coming out tonight and watching us fumble through this. Jennifer will be back for the official October movie. So thanks so much for everybody supporting. We really, really appreciate it. You want to say anything, Heather?
Yeah, you guys, thanks for coming. I'm glad we got to hang out. I feel like we've missed you guys, and so it was good to, even though we're like super duper frazzled and everywhere. Sorry, but it was good to have you guys around. I think it always makes me feel better inside when we get to hang out. So thanks for being here.
Yes. And make sure, because we lose the comments when I click stop broadcast, make sure that you go to the Facebook group to put your comment, to put your suggestions there. Thank you so much. Everyone says that we did great. So thank you for your support and your kind words. And be sure to check out Heather on all the social medias and here as How to Be Fancy. I, again, am Modern Retro Gal, sitting in for Jennifer, who is How to Be not How to Be Fancy, the Vintage Vanity. You guys sound similar. Sorry. Jennifer is a Vintage Vanity. We know that. So be sure to check us out on all the social medias and subscribe to our channels. We put regular videos up here on YouTube also. So that is it for us tonight. Again, thank you all, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.